Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Ashley and this is Crafts with Ash. Today I'm going to bring you 4 Dollar Tree projects that you can do to incorporate on your fall tiered tray. I will show you all the pictures at the end, and I'm also going to take you through how I designed my fall tier tray. Now it does go by my Keurig, so it is a coffee themed tiered tray, so I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. For the first project, you're going to need this bag of colored wooden beads from the Dollar Tree, some twine, a skewer, some Waverly chalk paint in the color white, some Waverly antique wax, and a little leaf. I got this one off a pack from Hobby Lobby. The first thing you're going to do is open up the bag of beads, and then I took all of the biggest beads and put them on that skewer. Now, because I'm only using the biggest size in the package, this is going to be a mini version of a little tassel beaded garland. Now, if you want to make it longer, by all means, put all the beads on there, but I just wanted to use the biggest ones for this project. Next, I gave my beads 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint in white. Now, to make your life a little easier, you can take a block of floral foam and stick the skewer in it. That way you can let it dry. Next, I took my twine, and by taking the end of it, I wrapped it around all 4 of my fingers numerous times so it made a big loop of twine. After I wrapped it around the amount of times that I liked, I went ahead and cut off the end. Then I took a smaller piece of twine and tied it around the middle of my big loop. After I had tied it, I scooted it up to the top to start forming a tassel. Then I wrapped the edge of the ribbon all the way around to give a nice clean finish and tied it off. Now, I did end up adding some hot glue just to reinforce it and to make sure that it didn't all unravel. Next, I went ahead and cut the loops at the other end of my tassel. Then I cut them down to make them all even. Next, I took that little wooden leaf and gave it a coat of antique Waverly wax. Now, to make it look like it was stained, I took a baby wipe and wiped it off, and it worked perfectly. Then I wanted to give my beads an antique look, so I went ahead and took the Waverly antique wax and a makeup sponge and lightly brushed over the beads on all sides. Now, I did go back and forth between using that brush that I originally used to paint them white and the Waverly antique wax. That way it kind of had a softer, muted tone, but I just kind of repeated this process until the beads looked how I liked it. After my beads were dry, I went ahead and took them off the skewer. Now to easily thread them through on the twine, I took a little dab of hot glue to the end of the twine and I kind of shaped it so it looked like a little pointier edge. Then I just beaded all of my beads onto the twine. Next, I took my tassel and pulled up a little piece of the string that was on the folded part and strung the end of my twine through there and tied it off. I did enforce it with some hot glue to make sure that it stayed on. Now I made sure that all my beads were tight together, so I pushed it all the way down to the tassel, and I added some hot glue to the last bead at the end to make sure that it didn't move. Then I took my leaf and hot glued it to the bottom of that, then cut off the excess string. And this makes a cute little leaf tassel perfect for my fall tiered tray. For the next project, you're going to need 1 pack of this dice that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's in the toy section, and then 2 sticks. Now, of course, you can go outside and grab some too, but I use the ones that are in this pack. Now, I had already had 2 dice painted from a previous project, so what you're going to do is put 2 coats of Waverly chalk paint on your dice. Then on that other project that I actually had put the Waverly Antique wax on the top because I was trying to make them look like s'mores, so that's why it looks a little darker here. You can do that if you like, or you can just stick with the Waverly chalk paint. It's totally up to you. After all the white paint dries, you're going to give each dice 1 coat of Apple Barrel pumpkin orange paint. After your little dice dry, you're going to take the Waverly Antique Wax and that makeup sponge again, and you're going to lightly brush on the wax onto the edges, all 6 of them, of the dice. Now you will see that I go back and end up painting the bottom of the dice with that orange, and then after that dried, I went ahead and did the same thing. Next, I took my sticks and I put them on the top to make them look like pumpkins. Now this first one, that one just kind of screwed in. It was perfect because the hole that was already on there, so I just pushed it down. This next one, I tried to do that and then gave up and just hot glued it on, and it worked out just fine. To complete my little pumpkins, I took my twine and wrapped it around the stem and made a little bow on each. How cute are these little foam dice pumpkins, and how easy was that to make? These are perfect for little filler spots in my tiered tray. The next project, you're going to need this pack of small canvases and the farmer's market calendar. So the first thing you're going to do is open up the pack of canvases, and this pack actually has 3 canvases in it, but we'll only be using part of one of them. Then you're going to cut out the image on the back that says Farm Fresh Pumpkins, or Pumpkin Patch, I'm sorry, and you will measure that to the canvas, and then using a X-Acto knife, you can go ahead and cut off a piece of the canvas and just simply glue it on there. It's that easy. Now, if you can't find these little canvases, you can always use poster board or foam board or even cardboard from a cereal box. You can just paint it white first, and that'll work perfectly fine. Then, to make sure it looked nice and finished, I took that white Waverly chalk paint and I painted the edges because it kind of left them a little rough, so I wanted to make sure it all blended in. Then I took my makeup sponge that already had the Waverly Antique Wax, and I kind of just dabbled on the edges just to make it kind of all blend and to make it look a little bit more rustic. And that's it. It was so easy to do. For my last DIY, it's actually something that I made for a previous video, but because it's going on my fall tiered tray, I thought it was perfect. So all you're going to need is this coffee sign that I got from the picture frame section of the Dollar Tree and this burlap ribbon. So the first thing I did was give this little coffee cup 2 coats of this Waverly chalk paint. Next, I took my Waverly Antique Wax and painted the top of the cup where the lid would be. Then, using this burlap ribbon, I glued it around the middle to make like the holder of the coffee cup. Then I found this super cute pumpkin ribbon that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I wrapped that around there too. Lastly, I took my black paint marker and I outlined the edges of the lid. And that's it. This completed that cute little shelf sitter, perfect for my pumpkin spice latte bar. What do you think? I want to thank you so much for watching my video. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, then hop on Facebook and give my Crafts with Ash page a like and a follow. Until next time, I'll craft with you soon. Bye!